We have to stop enabling people like this. Today's video is brought to you by my book, Never Off Duty. Order yourself a copy of my book, Never Off Duty, at DangeloPublications.com or through my website, OfficerNate.com. Guys, I've gotten a lot of really great reviews on my book. People are really enjoying it. They're reading it 2, 3, 4 times, and they're sharing it with their friends. I'm getting a lot of really good feedback on it. So, Never Off Duty. Go get yourself a copy today. All right. So I'm sure you've seen these 2 videos that I'm going to show you circulating social media. Now, you're probably wondering why I bring this up, why I'm choosing to talk about this. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Let's watch the videos.
Let's go. I find 2 times today. I'm good. Man.
See, that's what you get because you don't want to fight.
Relax. Relax.
That's what you get because you don't want to fight, nigga.
One of the most maddening things about this video is the jackass who's recording is sitting there giggling as this is going on. So, for those of you who don't know, this poor kid who's being attacked has autism. And I don't know exactly why this guy decided to punch him. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he punched him. And then apparently this kid was dragged into a bathroom and beaten up pretty badly by these kids that are there in the hallway. So, just disgraceful. We'll look at an article here in just a minute that where it quotes the school district. Apparently this is Liberty High School in Florida, and the spokesperson for the school district makes some sort of comment that, yes, this was a physical altercation that took place in October, and the students have been disciplined accordingly. And that's it. That's all we hear. Here's the next video. Okay, so let's wind it back just a little bit. All right, so you can see the black player punches the other player who happens to be Asian. Okay, now you can hear the black player's mom say, "You better hit her." It's kind of faint, but you can still make it out. Now, this girl here, okay, she gets the ball, she shoots a 3, she misses, and then she flops like LeBron James. Okay. Trying to draw the foul or something, and then she falls into the other player, knocking the other player down. And somehow this is the fault of the other player. It's right there. Her mom says, "You better hit her for that." Just clobbers this girl. Now, apparently, this girl still hasn't returned to school because of the injuries she sustained. Okay, and apparently this isn't this girl's first rodeo with this. So her reaction to, well, apparently sucking at basketball and then being frustrated because she sucks is to attack her opponents and start punching everybody. So why bother bringing any of this stuff up, you ask? Well, so people like Darrell Brooks, right? The guy in Waukesha, Wisconsin that ran over the people in the parade. Or Rayshard Brooks, the guy in Atlanta, Georgia, who disarmed a police officer of his taser, tried to tase them, and then got shot. Michael Brown, okay, Ferguson, Missouri. These people don't come into adulthood and then suddenly become violent, antisocial degenerates. Okay, that's not how it works. This is learned behavior, and it starts even before these videos. I mean, the kids in these videos, they're teenagers, right? But it starts way before that. This behavior is learned and it's taught, as you can see in the basketball video, where the mom instructs her daughter to hit the other player. This also has nothing to do with white supremacy and systemic racism and these people being forced to behave this way because they have no other choice. And I guarantee you what you're going to see eventually in the future is one of these kids or a kid similar to them growing up, becoming an adult, getting into an altercation with the police, resisting arrest, threatening the officers with their lives, and then getting shot. And then you're going to hear mainstream media like CNN doing news coverage about this, about an event like that, and then blaming white privilege, blaming America for being systemically racist, and forcing people like this into a corner, giving them no other choice but to be violent and be antisocial. This is a culture issue. This is a dysfunction in culture. If you are teaching your children to be violent and to resolve their conflicts by punching other people in the face, then that is a parenting failure. That is a culture failure. That is not a failure on the part of America. It's not a failure on the part of society. Society takes no part in raising your children. That's on you. That's a parent responsibility. And society is certainly not responsible when your children screw up, make mistakes, commit crimes, commit felonies, hurt other people, victimize other people. That is your fault as a parent. That's all on you. And I'm not sure what consequences the basketball player suffered, if any. I didn't see any in any articles or any news coverage that I read or saw. What's shocking to me is that she was still playing basketball. She was still allowed to play after one incident, after attacking multiple opponents, just because, like I said, she's not very good at basketball. And so in order to save face, she's going to start punching her opponents in the face. Why is she still on the court? Why was she allowed to play another game and then attack another student? And that student is now suffering long-term debilitating injuries because of it. There's a double standard that exists in our society and in our country, where, you know, if you're a white person, a white student, white adult, whatever, if your skin is white, then you are held accountable for your actions and then some. And you're crucified and you're canceled, and the system or people or whoever, the media, will come down with a vengeance on you. But if you're not white, okay, if you're part of a marginalized group, if you're part of a minority group, then you get a pass. Okay, and this type of behavior is enabled because of that, because there's no real consequences or repercussions for the behavior that you saw in these videos. I'm willing to bet that the student that punched the autistic student probably got maybe a day's suspension, and then he was back in school. And as far as I know, the basketball player, nothing has happened to her. There was no indication that she was disciplined in any way or penalized. She's probably still playing ball, and we'll probably see this behavior again. See, she's not. There needs to be some consequences for her as well, right? I know she's a juvenile, but she still needs to be charged with a crime and suffer some sort of consequence for that. Yeah, sure, her mother is looking at 2 misdemeanors, big deal. But what does the daughter learn from that? Nothing. She learns that if she screws up, then her mother is going to pay the price, not her. Now, don't get me wrong, her mother should in fact be charged, absolutely, because she's the one that encouraged it. She's the one who instructed her to do that. But if we don't start holding individuals responsible for their actions, we're just going to keep seeing more and more of this. More people being victimized. See, this is the problem with these leftist policies, okay? Whether they're legislation, whether it's some sort of policy in a school or a university, is they do not take into account the victims of any of these incidents, any of these events, any of these crimes that are being committed. All of this legislation and policy and virtue signaling and posturing on behalf of marginalized minority groups is about them. It's all about them. It's all about their feelings. It's all about how we should be treating them and how we should be making them feel despite their antisocial criminal behavior. But what about the people they're victimizing? When do their rights come into play? When do we take them into consideration? Not to mention that it's the victims of these crimes that are paying the taxes that pay the salaries of these elected officials who are making policies that are alienating the people who pay taxes and that are the victims of these crimes. The problem is that these elected officials in a lot of these areas think that they're doing people like this a favor by being lenient, by backing down, by standing down, by enabling them, by pandering to them, by acquiescing to their demands so that they can feel better, so that they can feel like they're being treated equally and as human beings. Well, we saw how that worked out in Kenosha with the Kyle Rittenhouse case. The cops were told to stand down, and then you had violent rioters and looters and arsonists running around, damaging property, hurting people, and 3 of them got shot and 2 of them died for their trouble. How's that helping anybody? If the cops had been allowed to do their job in Kenosha and have the rioters disperse, then the Kyle Rittenhouse case would have never taken place. If we hadn't given criminals, i.e. rioters, looters, arsonists, and pedophiles, a pass on their criminality, then 2 of them would still be alive. I mean, frankly, it's not a huge loss, especially when you consider Joseph Rosenbaum was a pedophile and liked to rape young children. But for all the people grieving and lamenting their loss in Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber, maybe stop crying about defunding the police. Maybe stop crying about how rioting and looting and violence is a form of speech, and let the elected officials in those areas allow the cops to do their job and keep peace and keep order and civility in those communities. Because this is what happens when criminals aren't held accountable, is private citizens and civilians are left to defend themselves and their property. And they are within their rights to do that. And sometimes people get shot and killed, just like they did in Kenosha. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about these 2 videos. What do you think the consequences should be for behavior like this? If you guys have any information on either of these 2 incidents, let me know as far as what happened to these kids, whether they actually saw any discipline, whether any discipline was imposed, and what resulted in these things. But leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave me a like. Share the video. Like the video. Hit the notification bell so you can receive a notification every time I post a video. See you next time.